All right, let's get right into it. We are cracking open the declassified file on a place that, for almost 60 years, officially didn't exist. A name that's basically become a code word for aliens, deep government secrets, and strange things happening out in the desert. Yeah, we're talking about Area 51.
So for decades, right, that name has been this magnet for all the wildest stories. Government cover-ups, crashed flying saucers, you name it. It's kind of the ultimate conspiracy theory. But what if the real story, the one that's actually documented, is even more wild? We're going to use the government's own declassified files to figure out what was really going on out there in the Nevada desert. Okay, to get to the truth, we've got to rewind. Way back. We're talking the peak of the Cold War. Because the real secret zipping through the skies over Nevada, well, it wasn't alien, but you better believe it was revolutionary. And the government's crazy attempt to keep it hidden, that's what created the whole alien myth in the first place.
So check this out. The whole history of this place is just wrapped in secrecy. The base gets built in '55, and bam, almost right away people start seeing UFOs. Then the whole alien story just explodes in 1989. But get this, the CIA doesn't even admit the place exists until 2013. That is almost 60 years of total official silence when you talk about the perfect breeding ground for a legend, right?
Okay, so the very first big project at Area 51 was the U-2 spy plane. And here's the key to everything. Back in the 50s, a regular commercial plane flew at, maybe 10,000 feet? The U-2, it was screaming along at over 60,000 feet. Now just put yourself in the shoes of a pilot back then. You look out your window and see something glinting in the sun 10 miles above you. Of course you'd think it's a UFO, because it literally was an unidentified flying object.
And here's the kicker. This is how that classic flying saucer image was born. From way down on the ground, the U-2's super long silver wings would catch the sunlight from the very edge of space. What do you think that looks like? A fiery silver disk. The CIA knew this was happening, they saw the reports, but for them, keeping their top secret spy plane a secret was priority number one, no matter what.
And it didn't stop with the U-2. Oh no, a clear pattern starts to show up. Next up, Area 51 develops the A-12 aux card. This thing looked like a disc and flew at over 2,000 miles an hour. Can you imagine seeing that? Then came the F-117 Nighthawk. I mean, look at it. It was this bizarre black angular thing that looked totally alien. And guess what? Every single time they rolled out a new top-secret plane, the local UFO reports went through the roof.
You know, we don't even have to guess about this. A declassified CIA report from 2013 just comes right out and says it. More than half of all the UFO reports from that time, they were just people seeing the U-2 and the A-12 spy planes. So the government basically used the public's fascination with flying saucers as the perfect cover story for its most secret Cold War spy programs. Pretty clever, right?
Okay, so if more than half of these sightings were just spy planes, where did the aliens enter the picture? Well, for that, we need to fast forward a bit to a TV interview in 1989 that completely changed everything. This is where Area 51 goes from being a military secret to a full-blown alien legend.
A guy hiding his identity, calling himself Dennis, goes on Las Vegas TV, and he starts making these absolutely mind-blowing claims about his work at a secret base near Area 51. He later came out as Robert Lazar, and let me tell you, his story was about to change the game for Area 51 forever.
And his story it blew up. Mostly because of how specific it was. This wasn't just some guy saying he saw light in the sky. No, he claimed he was an insider, a physicist hired to reverse engineer actual alien spaceships. He talked about anti-gravity drives, this mysterious new element, and even said he'd read government files detailing thousands of years of human-alien contact. I mean, it was pure dynamite, and it just exploded across pop culture. Lazar's story captivated millions. I mean, it still does, but when investigators and scientists actually started to dig into the details, the whole thing started to unravel, piece by piece. So what we have to do now is separate the incredible story from the hard evidence. Let's really break this down.
Okay, first things first, his credentials. Lazar said he had master's degrees from two of the best science universities on the planet, MIT and Caltech. But when journalists went to check, neither school had any record of him, ever. His explanation? The government erased my records, which is, a pretty convenient excuse that you can't really prove or disprove.
And then there's the science. This is a big one. He claimed the alien ships ran on a stable fuel called Element 115,
Well, fast forward to 2003, and scientists actually managed to create element 115 in a lab. The catch? It's wildly unstable. It basically disappears in less than a second. It is completely useless for, well, anything, let alone powering a spaceship across the galaxy. This is a huge hit to his story, because the real science flatly contradicts his alien science. And you start to see a pattern emerge, right? Step 1, Lazar makes a very specific claim you can actually check. Step 2, researchers check it against public records or scientific facts. Step 3, the evidence doesn't back him up. And Step 4, he falls back on an explanation you can't verify, like the government erased it, or it's a different kind of isotope we don't know about yet. It happens over and over.
So let's just lay it all out on the table. On the one hand, he did work for a government subcontractor and he apparently passed some polygraph questions. Okay, but on the other hand, the list is, well, it's long. No records of his degrees from MIT or Caltech. His big claims about element 115 are scientifically inaccurate. He predicted UFOs would appear on certain nights, and they never did. When you really weigh it all, the evidence against his specific alien claims is it's overwhelming. So, this leads to the big question, right? If the story has so many holes, why is the myth of Area 51 bigger and more powerful than ever? Why do so many people still believe him? Well, the answer might have less to do with aliens and a lot more to do with human nature.
Think about it. For decades, the U.S. government's official line was Area 51 does not exist. Period. By just saying no comment to everything, they created this huge information vacuum. And you know, nature hates a vacuum. So does our curiosity. Robert Lazar's story, as wild as it was perfectly shaped to rush in and fill that empty space.
And when the truth finally came out in that declassified CIA report, it confirmed exactly what the evidence was pointing to. The big secret of Area 51 wasn't aliens. It was all about human technology, about Cold War spies, and this desperate race to stay one step ahead of the Soviets. The UFOs, they were ours the whole time.
Ultimately, the story of Area 51 is a pretty powerful lesson, isn't it? It shows how official secrecy can just destroy public trust. By hiding one truth, their amazing spy planes, the government accidentally created the perfect breeding ground for a much bigger, more incredible story to take its place. And maybe the biggest takeaway is this. Sometimes the most interesting secrets aren't the ones hidden by the government, but the ones we create for ourselves just to fill in the blanks.